Hi, Izzy. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I am so good. Thank you for having me here as well. I'm excited to chat with you.
Yay! We've already had a chat about the sunflowers, which is really meaningful to me. Because I've got a tattoo of a sunflower in memory of my cousin who sadly passed away. He took his own life, and so this was very poignant. When I noticed the sunflowers, I'm like, oh, this is meant to be. Tell me a little about you and your business, just so we get a little flavor of who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Izzy, like you said, and I started Izzy Waite Design. I was working in a position where I was burnt out, struggling mentally, just not in a place of like joy and thriving. And I was kind of at the same point as the pandemic. So there's just a lot of mental struggles going on with everybody. And I had an uncle who committed suicide during that period of time. He was struggling with depression himself. And not that the cause of it was burnout, but I do know that that was a factor. He was just burnt out in his work and unhappy with where he was. And so I think all those things, seeing where I was, seeing the state of the world, seeing him, it just kind of made me like do a heartbreak in my life and be like, oh my gosh, I cannot continue doing this. Like I need to find something that's going to help me thrive, something that's going to help me feel like I'm adding value to the world. And so I took this hard pivot. I left the 9 to 5, as a lot of people like to say, and I started my own branding and website business where I just focus on helping heart-centered entrepreneurs get noticed and seen for the right reasons and develop a brand that's more aligned with their soul.
Oh, spoke to my heart. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And as you
Yeah.
know, I'm on a big mission to help solve the global mental health crisis. I know, little old B, but you never know. And try
Mhm.
and help as many people that might be suffering with their mental health when they don't need to, because we just need to have the knowledge and the tools to know how to manage that. And for me, I was an overwhelmed working mum, felt stuck, couldn't find a way to, like you, to get out of the 9 to 5, rat race.
Mhm.
And so I became a coach and I started investing in myself, looking after myself. And now I help other overwhelmed working mums and overcome and get to where they want to be. And so, um, would you mind sharing a little bit about a bit more about your mental health and obviously the impact that losing your uncle, and I'm sorry to hear that, losing your uncle has had on you and your family?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I have to say first though, before I jump into that, your mission reminds me of the starfish story. Have you ever heard that?
Yes, yes,
Have you? Oh
yes. It
way.
was like
That's
one of my
like
first posts on my coaching page. Yeah,
no way. I also
it
posted
made a
about it. That's
difference to
like,
one. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh, no one else I feel like knows that. I'm so glad. That is yeah, exactly what you're saying spoke to me because that's exactly how I view my business is like
Mhm.
there's a million entrepreneurs out there. I can't help all of them, but like just helping one at a time is my difference. So, oh my gosh, surface story.
Yeah.
So I think everything. I think a lot of people when they start businesses, it is kind of like a healing journey in
Mm.
itself. At least it was for me. Like I said, um, I struggled a lot with the pandemic right away, as a lot of people did. I mean, I was a fresh college grad.
Mm.
Um, didn't really have a place to live set up because of all these ups and downs of life during that period of time, and my mental health was just not great. I was for really the first time in my life, I had kind of dabbled on and off with, mild mental health issues.
Mhm.
But during COVID, I was like crippling anxiety, like just so unhappy with where I was. I remember a period of time like when I was like, I don't even remember what it feels like to smile and like actually be happy.
Wow.
And for anyone
Wow.
that, yeah, and for anyone that knows me, that is just so crazy because people know me as like this happy, bright,
You're
like
so sunny and happy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I love to be. And so in that period of time when it was so dark and I was like, I don't even remember what it feels like to laugh. It was just like I had to stop and I had to be like, this is not me. This is not where I need to do, like, I need to do something to put my mental health first. I need to make big changes and kind of adjust my life. And so yeah, that's kind of what I did. And I am always the type of person when I'm unhappy, I stop and do hard pivots, which
Wow. Okay.
some people make like slow changes. I just can't. I just, as soon as I get stuck and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck. I'm like, no, I need to completely
That's
change
enough.
something.
Yeah, we're going this way. Yeah, I love that though.
Yeah. And so I think that was a big one for me is I was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm unhappy. I need to change things. And so I left and I started my own business. And obviously it wasn't like the next day I was happy, but
Yeah.
through little changes, I'm at a point now where I'm so happy again, and I have controlled my anxiety and figured out how to manage it and not let it control my life. And I'm thankful to have that journey of healing.
Yes, love that so much. You recognized, okay, something's not okay. I don't feel
Mhm.
good. This isn't good. I need to make a change. And I think it's in
Mhm.
that pivotal moment that it's make or break, right? For anyone in that moment of, deep despair, which I certainly was in. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm intrigued. What was your reason? Did you have a reason that was like, I have to do this? Like, was it a person? Was it, you know, possibly the impact of, your uncle passing,
Mhm.
the impact it had on your family? Like, what did you have? Yeah, did you have a reason?
There was a reason. I think really it was just the tipping. Like I felt like it's almost like what is that saying? Like the last straw that broke the camel's back or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
So I think it was like all these things, seeing what happened with my uncle and his struggles and seeing a lot of my friends in similar boats just struggling and the whole world at that time period was
Yes.
just
Oh gosh. Yeah.
mentally, it was hard.
Mhm.
And seeing all this struggle, seeing it way up, being in the position I was in working and just feeling drained and burned out. I got to a point where on New Year's Eve of 2021, I believe it was, the
Yeah.
company that I was working for and me had a meeting and basically decided to transition and me leave the company. It was a few
Wow.
things involved, but basically, end of the meeting was I'm not working there anymore. And so, on New Year's Eve, which I think it was crazy because that's a natural transition period for a lot of people anyway, that
Mm,
day. And so it was that night, I let myself cry for a few hours. And then the next morning, I was like, I'm done. I
mhm,
wasn't happy anyway. I wasn't meant to work there. Now it's time to like figure out what's next. And so
mm,
that was pretty much the big decision was
yeah.
that meeting
Yeah.
ended it. The next day it was New Year's, a new year. And I was like, we're changing it.
Yeah. Start again. And I think, especially for me, and I love the fact that you said you let yourself cry for a good few hours. I think
Yeah.
it's important that we allow those emotions to surface and release them because that's how we heal.
Yeah.
And I'm very big on this that, a lot of people, they don't agree with what I post sometimes, but sometimes I will cry and I will share that on social media, just a
Hmm.
picture, and to let people know we're human. It's
Yeah.
okay not to be okay. And it's good to cry it out and let it out of your system because it's the only way that we can heal. And then pick yourself up, put a good song on to make you feel good, do the things that make you happy. Don't
Yeah.
stay in it. Don't stay in your sadness. Don't dwell on it. I think
Yeah.
that is the key that people don't realize that yes, it's okay to not be okay, but don't stay there. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize they have a choice, but it's knowing what makes you feel happy, I think. So yeah, I love that. You allowed
Yeah.
yourself to feel it and to cry, but you picked yourself up. That is the
Yeah.
key. I
I'm
love
a
that.
really big advocate that feelings only want one thing, and that's to be felt. And I
Yes.
see that to a lot of my friends, especially who are in situations where they have feelings, and they're like, no, I should be okay. I should be doing
We're
this or
not
whatever. It's like,
robots. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We
Feelings
have to
only
feel.
want to be felt. And if you
Yeah.
don't, they're just going to be bottled up inside and still
Yeah.
going to be wanting to be felt in other avenues, other
Yes.
releases, which isn't
Then
healthy. So
suppressed and suppressed and suppressed, and one day will just explode because we can't cope with holding it all in.
totally.
Or it manifests as an illness in our bodies, right? Because
Yeah.
it's emotion, it's energy, it needs to be moved. So if we don't
Hmm.
exercise, we don't release that energy. So I'm quite big on energy and yeah, moving emotion. But I'm, yeah, like when you're on that right vibration, you attract the right people. And
Hmm.
I was just on a call with the Women Thrive other speakers that have been selected. And oh, I've had a bit of an emotional week. Like a lot of grief has come up for me all of a sudden that I wasn't expecting. And I just called out to them and I said, "Is there anyone that can deal with this and this and this?" And they were like, "I'm here if you need me. Book a Zoom call, I can chat." And I'm like, overwhelmed with all the kindness. I'm just like,
Hmm.
someone else just said that's divine timing, that you were
Yeah.
part of this little community that we have. And I was like, you couldn't make it up, with my current circumstances and then being around the right people that can support you through that. That is grace, right? That's divine
Yeah.
timing and grace. So I totally believe like we're meant to meet who we're meant to meet. So thank you
Oh,
for being here.
absolutely.
It doesn't we don't necessarily have to suffer or struggle with our own mental health, but I'm pretty sure there's everyone in the world who has either suffered with their mental health difficulties or knows someone that is or has been affected by someone that has committed suicide. It impacts everyone. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm just so like passionate about it, because I think if we don't fix this now for us as adults, we're just going to keep passing it down to the next generations and it's never going to get better. We teach ourselves how to manage our mental health, then we can teach our children how to manage their mental health, and then it gets better down the generations to come. So that's my massive like
Hmm.
long-term mission. But
And I feel like we're in a really good spot right now. I don't like to say that like good things came out of COVID, but I think if anything did, so many people, even those who
yeah,
had never like ever felt struggles with their mental health,
yeah,
so many people did and
yeah,
woke up to what it was truly like to be isolated, to feel
empathize,
anxiety,
yes.
to feel depression. And so we're in this space now where it's it's easier to talk about because it's so much more relatable than maybe it was
Yeah.
10 years ago, because it's a thing that we all went through on a global scale,
Mm-hmm.
which was terrible at the time. Let's
Of
never do it
course,
again.
yeah. But so much
But
good and so much connection came out of it because
yeah,
we were forced to connect in any other
yeah.
way. So, seeing the beauty of those difficulties, isn't it?
Hmm.
I totally agree with you there. I had to
Hmm.
work throughout the whole pandemic full time. But yeah, our restrictions kept changing, and then my son could go back to nursery. And so I was parenting and working full time from home for a period of time. And I've no idea, like, I don't know how I did it. You have to get through it somehow, but I had to work and I had to parent and stay in a house all day, every day. It was not good. And I just think I should have probably hit rock bottom at that point, but it wasn't until like a year later that I hit rock bottom. So yeah,
Yeah.
madness. I think when you're in survival mode, you just keep going, don't you?
Yeah,
Until
that's what I was just gonna say. You probably were, but you weren't feeling it because your survival mode kicks in and you're
you're
just like,
just
okay,
numb, aren't
I
you?
gotta do. And
Yeah.
then when you have, I think that's actually, there is actually a term for that. And then when you have time to finally sit with everything
Mm.
after the fact is when it catches up to you and it's like, holy cow, we just did that for
Yeah.
however long. And yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
understand
I
and
think
I
you're
relate.
right. I had time to just sit I went back to the office and I was like, what am I doing with my life? This is miserable. And then, yeah, just doing everything and not feeling like I was getting any support. And yeah, work full time, parenting. doing everything you can for your child, and then
Mm-hmm.
still just sitting on the sofa at the end of the day once you put your child to bed, just like surrounded by mess and toys. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Can't do this. But it was really tough. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you pick yourself up, you think enough's enough, can't do this. Um,
I was gonna ask
help.
you, we talked about how for me, like I didn't necessarily have one thing that changed me and was like, okay, I gotta make a change, but it kind of was. What about for you? Did you have like one pivotal moment where you were like, okay, I gotta do something, I gotta pick myself up, I gotta change, or what was that process like for you?
So, just to go back to that story, I've obviously left out a lot of details, but why am I here? I'm doing a really boring job that I don't love, and I'm just staring out the window and listening to her, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. And then it was that night that I was just like, did everything, picked up my son, dinner, bath, bed, put him to sleep, and then once you just stop and you're left with just your dark thoughts, and you're like, I can't keep doing this every day.
Mhm.
And it was in that really dark moment that I actually made very clear plans to end my life. Really, really dark and scary. And the only saving grace was remembering that little boy that I just put into bed, tucked him up, kissed him goodnight. He likes to hold my hand as he falls asleep.
Mm.
I just thought that sweet boy that wouldn't have his mum's hand to hold as he goes to sleep. I was like, I can't do that to
Yeah.
him. I can't. So that's why I asked that question, because he was my reason. Um,
Mm.
Other times of my life, again, very short and sweet, but there's a lot of details to it. But I was kicked out by my first partner, homeless, broke, couldn't get a job because, again, I was in survival mode. I was like desperate, couldn't get a job because they were like, she's way too desperate. Let's not give her a job. Um, Again, divine timing. I bumped into this guy, didn't know him. I was on my way to hand deliver a job application. Went to a train station platform. As I came up the steps, this guy had an epileptic seizure and like smashed his head open. No one else helped him. So I ended up staying with him for hours, waiting for like medical care. Took him to the hospital. Obviously missed my application deadline, but the next day I got a like job email, like an advertisement for a job working with people with epilepsy. Managed to get that job. Funnily enough, I met my husband there.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, my husband had a cardiac arrest in bed whilst he was asleep, and I saved his life. So then I had PTSD from that, obviously, seeing his lifeless eyes and turning blue, and like the whole process of resuscitating and some hard stuff. um, but he survived, and then we had our son. So my son has literally saved my life. He wouldn't exist had I not saved his dad's life. Like,
Mm.
it's had I not prayed for a miracle, I would not have met my ex-husband. So it's like it's a whole, I think it's like a whole infinity thing. Like, it's all meant to happen. But sadly,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're not together anymore. We're currently selling our house, which is why it's been a really like emotional week, because it's like all actually happening. The house is being sold. The whole family life that I thought I was going to have forever is like, it is officially not going to happen. Like, obviously it's over, but like, for just the thought of having to tell our son that his mummy and daddy are not together, going to be together anymore, and we're going to have to move, and I was like, oh, I can't. I was just, yeah. So that's been my week, like this week, with the whole selling of the house. But anyway, in a nutshell, that's been my mental health journey.
Oh my goodness, that
Like, overcoming adversity. So I just want to
yeah.
be a beacon of hope. So anyone else who, doesn't think they can get through something difficult, they can, because I did, and I will show them how. So yeah, that's that question answered in a very long-winded way.
No,
So yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, that's your story, and I mean, think of how many lives, I mean, you've already saved two,
I know, right?
realistically.
That's mad.
Yeah, and think about how many more lives you'll be able to touch and save, honestly, by just helping them understand like dark times don't last forever. And
Yeah.
even though you go through hard things and you go through trials, it doesn't have to end your life. It's just kind of opening up a new chapter. And you're a great testament for that. So I think people are going to see that and resonate
Oh,
with it for sure.
thank you. That's where I get like, oh, do I share my story, like all of it, or
Mm.
just some of it? Or like, but I think it's important for people to realize, yes, she's been through PTSD, anxiety and depression because I hadn't dealt with my PTSD properly. I had like
Yeah.
probably 6 sessions of therapy, but I hadn't probably done that. My son had, he was delivered by emergency C-section because he had a heart difficulty, which then that brought up my whole PTSD again. I was like, oh no, he's going to die now because of heart problems, and just, oh, it just went on and on. And then postnatal depression, and just, yeah. I, when I sit and talk about it, I'm like, holy shit, I've been through a lot. And until you
Yeah.
validate it, you don't really accept it, do you? I don't think.
Yeah.
You are definitely qualified to help other people because you know how it
Yeah.
feels. You've been through it. And I'm out the other
Yeah.
side, which is what I'm focused on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. I mean, what a story. And like I definitely think you should talk about it. I think that there are a lot of women, especially who are going to resonate a lot with what you're saying and also think it's very inspiring to see you come out on the other side, even though the other side isn't always perfect. I mean, I like to say that I'm healed now. I'm not
Oh
healed. Like
God, no, it takes years to heal
yeah. And
properly.
even when you're on the other side, there's still downs and that you have to face and they have to deal with. But I think it's
Yeah, like
beautiful you
this
got where you
week,
are.
like I didn't realize I would have all this grief come up all of a sudden. I was literally crying for hours. I just couldn't stop. But it's like you say, it's important to feel it, sit with it, let it come up, let it surface. Oh no, thank you for saying that. It's important, I think, for everyone to feel validated. We've all got small and big trauma. It's
Mhm.
all valid.
I think that that's another thing is like I think people like to look at stories that, are other people's stories and be like, well, I don't have trauma because they did this. They have trauma, but it's like I think
Mm,
what you just said, like everybody's valid. I mean, just because you didn't go through the same thing as someone else doesn't mean that it wasn't as emotionally taxing
no.
or, you know, also hard for you. And so,
Huh, okay. So when I feel good, when I look after myself and then I feel better and then I reach out and find positive stuff, I then bring positive stuff into my life, like law of attraction and all that stuff. So, and within what, I don't even know how long it's been. I only started this journey in probably March. Now I've been selected out of thousands of applicants to be an expert speaker for the Women Thrive Summit. That just blows my mind.
that's
It sounds
amazing.
insane. From like last year when I was literally suicidal to now, I'm like
Yeah.
being seen as the go-to person for self-care, self-love, and mental health. What?
Yeah. How amazing.
When you focus on the service and how you can help other people, I think that is the key.
Yeah.
So, yes, tell me what your mission is when it comes to your business and
Mhm.
how you're going to inspire and help other women in their businesses with
Mhm.
your signature solution, let's call it.
Um, right away when I left my that position that was just so unhappy, I was so unhappy in. I was burnt out, and really, what the issue, one of the biggest issues with them was that their values didn't quite align with me. They were just seeking different things in the world, I think. And for me, like, I'm really about living. I just want to do good and help add more good into the world, basically.
Mhm.
So I don't know. So I just think our values weren't aligned. And so when I
Yeah.
ended work with them, um, I was in this space where I was like, okay, now what do I do? Like, how do I figure out how I can, like, shift myself, heal myself, but also, like, I just wanted to add good into the world. There was so much darkness in that
Yeah.
time period that I was just like, I need something to help. And then I hadn't opened my business yet, but I I was a designer, and some people had knew me as being a graphic designer, and so I had some people approach me, just knowing that I was kind of in this freelance zone where people were like, um, oh, can you help me with this design project? Can you help me with
Yeah.
this design project? And so I was given this opportunity to work with a few entrepreneurs as a freelance graphic designer. And I just got inspired again because they were people that were heart centered, that were doing what they were doing because it was good. Like, one of my first clients was a woman who owned a lot of bars, and when the pandemic started, they shut down
Oh,
bars, and
mhm.
so she, like, needed a way to, like, keep her family, thriving, and, like, keep some of her employees, like, getting a paycheck. And so she started baking cookies and selling cookies to the community.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was like, not only was she adding this, like, cookies that make people happy to the
Yeah.
community, but she was also doing it out of this place of like, I will survive, my community will survive. And she was just adding good.
Yeah.
And it really just inspired me. And I was like, oh my gosh, there are people out there who are trying to
Helping.
add good.
Yeah.
And so I already had skills. I went to college for design and for marketing. And so I was like, how can I use that and help elevate these people that are doing good in the world? And so I leaned into it, and I decided that through my skills, I could elevate them through branding and help them get noticed and get seen by people that they're going to help. Right. And so I work with a lot of, like, spiritual healers, or just really people trying to add good, like you, for example, or like my past client who is trying to help lawyers struggling with mental health. Like, I see me as being the stepping stone of helping them, like, almost get on a box, to stand
Mm,
out, to get above the crowd,
yes.
get above the noise. Like, through my branding and my skills, I can help them get noticed by the people that need them, by the people that they can help, that they can serve.
Love that. I think you would clearly understand my mission, who I am as a person, where I've come from, where I want to go, who I want to help. And yeah, I could definitely use your skills and knowledge and experience, and definitely would like to collaborate with you some more. And
Um,
go on.
I was just gonna ask, when you coach women, are you coaching them to like open a business, or is it more just like lifestyle coaching to, like, get their life kind of back?
It's more literally the point where I was at, where like these women are burnt out, they are overwhelmed, they feel stuck, they don't know how they can make any more money. So if they have the knowledge and the tools, and someone that can coach them through running a side business, it's kind of, I have to start at the beginning of self-care, remind them that
Mm.
they need to invest in themselves, look after themselves. That's where it starts, because that's where I was at. I have like a 4-step formula. So it's all in my talk on the masterclass this Sunday. You need to
Mm-hmm.
be committed. And, if you're in a place where you've had enough, you will do anything to not feel like that.
Yeah.
That's where I was. I was like, no, I need to invest this money in myself to feel better. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like your message to the universe, like, okay, she's ready to look after herself now, so we'll give her these opportunities and the right people and the right tools, to do that. So yeah, it's all a mindset stuff. So yeah, it all begins with mindset, self-care, and then I go on to um energy work, and
I love that.
how they become their higher selves, and then obviously from that they will be in the right place to start a soul aligned business, if that's what they
Mm,
want to do.
yeah.
No point
It's,
starting a business if you're not in the right mindset. I don't
right.
think.
To get there first.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, if you ever do, I don't know if you do group coaching or if you ever have a need for it, I do like a, like you were kind of talking about in the beginning, like a free master class on like how to DIY your branding, basically. Like
Yes.
for people, what you're saying, where they have like nowhere to start,
Just
they don't even know where
yeah,
to start.
basics
So
of like
yeah.
colours.
So if you ever have a need for like a guest to come in and like talk to these
Yeah.
women too about branding, let me know. I mean,
However, I'm not a guru when it comes to branding. So let me get my helpful friend who does know. Yes, that's what I'll
yeah.
do.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see your media ads come out for your
Oh
speaking. You
my
have to
god,
share.
I have no idea about any other media stuff. I don't know. I'm just gonna wait and see what
Yay,
happens.
I want to see it. Send it to me. This is exciting. I feel like we just started the beginning of our business friendship. Not even business, just our friendship. Friendship around the world.
Yay! I love it.
Just another divine aligning between us, I
Yes,
guess.
yes. Oh, it's been amazing, Izzy. Thank you so much. Oh, what a gift. What a gift. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, this is fun. Let's connect soon, okay?
Yay. Right, I'll message you.
Okay,
Yay.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.